Oompa, 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 hello everybody. Oompa, 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 here is Chris, the comic book nerd. Oompa, 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 hello all you YouTube comic book nerds.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Chris here. Today I'm going to be entering into Rick's Geekinit contest, which I'll explain to you real quick here. And I was hoping to do this a while ago. I was hoping for a piece of signed memorabilia to be coming in the mail before I did this, but unfortunately it's not here. And as I'm recording this, it's 2 days before his contest end, so I have to improvise and do this another way. But so anyways, his contest is to tell him what one of your favorite videos of his was, and then show off one of your signed books or pieces of memorabilia. So that's what I'm going to do today, but first I will say favorite videos. I'd have to say it's like the Poly versus Mylar videos that he did. There was like a part 1, part 2 that he did. Those were some of my favorites. And one of them, he actually, I think it was part 2, he ended up testing some of the pegs and putting some comic books in a pot of water for an hour. So it's like, kind of makes me hold my breath seeing comic books put in water. But it was good because I mostly use the poly bags right now, but the more and more I get into my back issues, or as my collection ages, there definitely are certain comic books that I need to change out the bags, and more expensive key issues that I should probably be putting in Mylar. Unfortunately, they are much more expensive, which is hard, but you're a comic collector, this is what I've chosen as a hobby. It's on me to take care of my collection and make sure it lasts for a long time. Of course, if you want to resale or pass it on to your children, you just want to be able to have them to be archived and properly stored so they last for a long time. So that's where my collection is coming to now. That there probably are some that I have to change out and put into some Mylars, or I think like my giant size X-Men or something like that. Or I got comic books from I think my oldest one is from like '54. Should probably put that one in a Mylar. I have maybe a couple Mylars hanging around, but some are different sizes. But yeah, so that kind of helps me convince me a little bit more. Yeah, I should be doing this. Should probably go get out a pack, and I probably got a few hundred I could probably at least put into some Mylars. So that's what we'll have to do eventually. So and he's got pretty good knowledge on the Mylars, because that's all he ever gets, and has the money to buy them. But Captain Strange Life, he's another fellow that's got a lot of old comics, and he swears by the Mylars as well. So I just gotta get that done eventually, save up some money or whatever, buy some Mylars, and they look great, and they're going to prolong the life of my comic books. So that's why I like those. And again, sticking comic books in water, that was entertaining to watch anyways. But yeah, so that's that. Those are my favorite videos of Rick's. And the second part, signed, one of my favorite signed pieces of memorabilia would be my Spider-Man 38, signed by Stan Lee. Unfortunately, that still has not come back to me. It's going on the 3-month mark, and I think CGC is supposed to have a 40-day turnaround, 40 business days, but of course that's from when they receive it, basically. So when it was submitted via Desert Rid Comics, so whenever they were done their Calgary show, a few months ago, and then collected all the books and then sent them in. So anyways, it's going on 3 months since I had handed it to them. So hopefully it's going to come back soon, though. That would be my favorite. I'm kind of getting a little, worried that it's not going to come back, but I'm sure it will. So other than that, I got a couple of signed things to show you that are some of my favorite signed comic book related items that are currently in the household. So let's start with the smallest one here. This is a Marvel Masterpieces '92 card of Wolverine, of course. Maybe I'll be able to take a picture, get you guys a closer look at that maybe, but can't see it quite well. But yeah, that's from '92, and I got it signed by Joe Jusko, which I met in the 2009 Calgary show. And on the back here I have a picture of me and Joe Jusko. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any art from him at that time. You know, buying something out of his book would have been too expensive, you know, the original pieces, and he was too busy to actually get me an original art piece at the show too. So, oops, good thing it's in this hard plastic. So yeah, this is one of my favorites. I don't collect many of the cards now at all. I used to collect quite a few trading cards. I eventually sold almost all of them in a yard sale, and I've only collected or saved a handful of my favorites that I had from that collection. But yeah, this is one of my favorite signed pieces, Wolverine, which looks, this pose looks very similar to the panel from Hulk 180 at the end where they first introduced Wolverine. That's one of the reasons too why it's one of my favorite cards as well, and Joe Jusko's art is fabulous. Fantastic. So yeah, so there's that. And I mean, this goes without saying anyways, but I mean, I've showed this like 1,000 times probably on my channel. But Hulk 181, signed by Len Wein, right there. Definitely one of my favorite comic books, one of my favorite signed items. I probably would like to get another copy of Incredible Hulk 181. This one is very good, but if I wanted to have one CGC'd, it'd probably have to be without a signature on it, or it'd have to be one with a witnessed signature. Because according to CGC, I mean, if I sent this in as this, they would grade it actually slightly lower because it's on a unauthenticated signature from Len Wein, so that would actually drive, you know, the grade down a point or two. But I mean, I know it's Len Wein, so I have pictures with him, so. But CGC, they can't verify it, so they would actually lower the grade a bit. So I'd probably eventually want to save up, get another copy of 181. But of course, that goes without saying, huge Wolverine fan, signed copy of 181. So there's that. Next, I have a piece of original art here that I got from Clayton Crane. I think this was in the, I think this was 2009 as well, I think. 2009, 2010, I can't remember. It doesn't have the year on it. But anyways, an original piece of art from Clayton Crane, which is this incredible artwork. You know, I asked him for a X-Force Wolverine at the show, and came back at the end of the day before we left. And this is what he come with. So it's not even actually complete because he had the whole day to be kind of working on it, but I had to go back. I was having work the next day. I was there for the whole weekend. So I mean, I pushed it as long as I could. But this looks incredible as is. I mean, seeing Clayton Crane's work, it's unbelievable. And anybody who has, you know, read any of books from Clayton Crane, I mean, his finished stuff is beautiful. Just this itself is beautiful. And I love seeing those roughs. When I go to shows and I get to see, you know, the sketches, quick pencils, seeing how they work, you know, their lines, and then, you know, seeing something later on in a finished comic book is just amazing. I love these roughs. I love seeing how the lines come together. It's really, really awesome. So yeah, of course, signed by Clayton Crane down there. And this is probably the biggest piece of art I've gotten at a show. Most of them, you know, are put on a comic book or you know, a backer board or something like that. But yeah, this is what Clayton Crane used. He had a big art book, and this is the size of papers he was using. So it's really awesome to see somebody, and fairly affordable. I think I spent $75 or $80 on this one. And there's other artists that I've gotten stuff from that I was for, you know, more money and a smaller picture that I wasn't as satisfied with. So yeah, really satisfied with what Crane was able to do here for me. So yeah, those are a few of my favorite signed items, and again, Spider-Man 38 should be my favorite as soon as that comes in, and it's going to be CGC, the signature series with Stan Lee's signature on. That's pretty awesome, I think. Okay, I've rambled on too much probably, but if anybody hasn't been to Rick's Geekinit channel, go there, check out his videos, really awesome. He's a great fella to have in our comic book community. Really enjoying his videos for sure. Okay, so that's about that, you guys. I'm going to get out of here. See ya.